I'm super excited to announce that I'm finally starting my podcast, which is going to be about inviting inspiring people I know and I came across during my career. It's gonna be to inspire, to give you inspiration and positive thoughts about life stories, learnings, and we are trying to make everyday life hopefully a bit easier and lighter with all these amazing guests I'm planning to invite. So I was thinking what should be the title of this podcast, and debating it for pretty long. I ended up with the name The Confidence Code, and the reason for that is that I was really debating something around inspiration, self-awareness, self-image and confidence. And the reason why I arrived to this idea is because I think this is something really defines our lives. So if we feel we have that confidence in us, then it just has an amazing effect on any areas of our lives, be it career, relationships, family, or even finding the one. So that's why the name. And my very first guest is Lorna, who is my coach, and I will let her to introduce herself, and also sharing the actual title of the first episode, which is around limiting beliefs. How to get unstuck. So this is basically about an idea, a single idea, which may be able to change your entire life. And Lorna will be able to share more about that. So thank you so much for accepting the invite. Let you introduce yourself, and then I'm going to share a few words on how we actually know each other.
Thank you. Well, look at me on your very, very, very first podcast. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm honoured. I'm honoured to be number one. I can't wait to see number 2, 3, 4 and 100. I'll just say hello really quickly. Yeah, I'm Lorna Dunning. I'm a personal development leader, success and results coach. And yeah, Mesha, you'll tell us how we met, I guess, and then I'll get into more later on.
So basically, our past goes back to American Express times when we met in London at Canary Wharf a couple of years ago, maybe 5-ish or so. 5
longer, I think 7, 8
5 really, wow. Yeah, then maybe more. In this lovely office at Canary Wharf where Lorna and I were colleagues. And yeah, since then a lot happened. Like, we survived the pandemic. I started Lorna's coaching program after she left Amex. And now here we go. A year ago, actually, I left Amex Travel as well, GBT, and now we actually work together on some projects. We do events together, and hopefully more collaboration and partnerships in the future. So that's the story, and I'm again very thankful, grateful, and excited that we are doing this today, especially with her as a first guest. So let's crack on and jump into the topic, one of my favorite topics, which is around self-belief. I'm also going to share maybe shortly some of my thoughts around it, what it means to me, and why I think it's really important. Lorna, being a coach, please share a little bit of background. What's your purpose when you do coaching, and what inspires you, and what do you love about coaching and helping people progressing with their lives?
Wow, where to start? I think the question, like, what's your purpose, it's an important question, and it's one I ask my clients all the time. But I don't ask them what's their purpose. I help them get clear on kind of, are they actually living their life today at this moment in a way they would choose if it was like their last day? And if not, and the answer to that is no the next day, and no the next day, and no the next day, then maybe it's time to find your next purpose. I like that phrase better, really, because I think we get hung up on, like, I've got to find my absolute purpose, when, we change, we evolve, we grow. And in my corporate career, when I was in senior leadership positions, I wouldn't say I didn't think I was living my life like out of harmony with who I was then, because that's at that point, that's what I knew. That's what I had access to. So yes, I pivoted into coaching 5.5 years ago. And I guess just briefly, I will answer your question, but I suppose it's if it's okay, just how I kind of came to be doing this, and then kind of what I love about it. Is that okay? So yeah, I was in leadership roles in the corporate world, various larger organizations forever really. And because I guess I always felt just so lucky and grateful to be earning more money than I ever imagined possible. You know, my background is okay. I'm from a working class, you might know by the accent. If you're from the UK, I'm from the northeast of England. Working class background. So to be in senior leadership positions, earning a lot of money with a great lifestyle, traveling all over the world, I always felt so lucky for that lifestyle. So I never really paused to question it, because I figured, why would I question this? This is like better than anything I ever dreamed. But I looked in a journal actually that I wrote like many years ago, and I don't remember writing it until I saw it quite recently. And I wrote in there some of the things I want to do in this lifetime. And one of them said, I know I don't want to be working like this 9 till 5 when I'm 40. Now, was it 45? I don't know, right? And I wrote that down and I just forgot all about it, didn't think anything of it. And cut to where I am now, and I look back, I actually made that change to move away from that life and choose my next purpose actually before, like around my 42nd birthday, something like that. So yeah, it's interesting what we tell ourselves, but I moved into coaching, I guess. And you know what's weird? Like, I never really wanted to be a coach. Like, coaching wasn't my first thing. And my coach at the time, who unlocked my limitations, she was asking me questions. What do you want? You know, what do you want next? And I resisted. I resisted hard. And I was like, you know, I love my role. I got this corporate job. I travel. I'm so grateful. And she tells me now that she remembers the conversation and how much resistance there was. And she thought, I think you do want to leave that corporate job. But that wasn't the driver, right? There's a whole segue story, which I won't get into. My actual first goal was to change the weight loss industry, because I'm so passionate about nutrition and fitness. And I see the misery of people who struggle with their weight and nutrition and health and well-being. And that was the kind of first path I embarked upon. And then I realized, actually, why limit my support and coaching to just weight and fitness when I can help people in every part of their life? So that's what I now do. So whether people come to me for weight, fitness, career change, relationships, launching a business, scaling a business, whatever that is, then that's like, I do the whole thing now, which is super, super rewarding. So now I'll answer your question. Sorry, Meshi. The question about why do I love it? Like, why do you love it?
Yeah. But of course, yeah, we needed the full story. So thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah. Because I know you love it. And I think it's interesting to position, and understand why. So I'll let you answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, if you imagine, you know, I get on a call with a client and their energy is clearly, visibly, that they might be stressed, they might be cluttered in their mind, they might be worried about something. So in one call, to see their energy go from that to actually inspired, motivated and ready to make change with super clear focus, that's like in an hour. And then I embark on a journey with them over a period of time through a coaching program, a system of teaching plus coaching. And to see that growth in a person, like I'll say to people, and I remember the person, it's usually over Zoom, so I'll remember the person who looked at me through the camera, and 3 months later, 6 months later, 12 months later, 2 years later, this journey never stops. But at some point I look at the person in the camera and I go, you're a different person. And they're happier, they're clearer. Usually they've transformed something that wasn't working for them, whether it's their life, their results, their business, relationships, they're more present with their family. But there's a whole lot of things I could tell you about, like waking up to messages with people saying, I just landed 20K client. I'm so grateful for this work. This is life-changing information. Like, I wonder why not everybody wants to do what I do, but I get that this is not for everybody, but I wonder, why wouldn't everybody want to do what I do? Because I get to see that. But then, you know, my husband's a fine furniture maker, and he's like, he couldn't think of anything worse than what I do, and I couldn't think of anything worse than being in a workshop with wood, right? So like, there's a calling for everybody. Thankfully, we're not all the same.
Yeah, totally get that. I think that's the beauty of it, right? Because these days you just hear from everyone, like on social media and from friends and just generally from people. Oh, I want to be a coach, or I'm a coach. Everyone kind of like says I'm a coach. And I think the difference is, when you really have that power in you to help unlocking specifically those limiting beliefs in people. And when you start seeing them to thrive, that's something,
Amazing.
I guess, better than many things. Speaking of my own experience, who kind of like, I think I managed to kind of like break my own barriers as well, while I was working with you. So you had a major part in, helping me starting my own business, and since then, just thriving and coming up with different ideas, from YouTube channels to podcasts, like now. So, I know what you mean, and thanks so much for sharing that. So another interesting question. So when you work with clients as a coach, why is that so hard for people to kind of like break those barriers? So as you explained as well, the first step is to identify what is the actual limiting belief, to understand their own selves, like what may hold us back, to make us feel stuck. And then I think many people actually get to that point, like they kind of like understand, like, yeah, I wish I could do that. Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, I always wanted to do that or start that or try that or something. But then they're stuck, our own selves. Still, once we understand, like, where we want to go or what we want to do, and maybe we even know the steps, we even see clearly, okay, so this is maybe the road to there, or this is the step-by-step thing what I could do or should do or want to do. Still, it is so hard to break through. And that's very rare when we really get to that point, and it's just amazing. I can't even describe what's on the other side. It's really like heaven. But why, as a coach, like, what do you see, or how would you phrase, like, what's that thing? Why is it that hard?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I would always start by saying it's not hard. It's not complicated. It requires effort. It requires mental discipline, but it's not hard. But let me put it this way. I think what you're asking is, if I want something different, or there's something in my life that's not working and I just wish I could improve it, why do I not just improve it? Like, what's standing in my way? Let me give you an example. So I'm a swimmer, and I've been a swimmer for a long time, like 35 plus years, since I could walk probably. So I know how to swim. I swim without thinking, and I do open water swimming. And last week, another swimmer who I swim every week with, we're in the same pool, we chat. She said to me, "Could I make a suggestion about your swimming stroke?" I went, absolutely, please tell me, I will learn anything. And she gave me this suggestion about think about a trigger, like a trigger point about a certain muscle I needed to use. And it changed the game for me. I was getting certain pain. I was out of balance a little bit. I'm a great swimmer. But she pointed out something that I couldn't see. So I want you to think about that as what I would use that for is a metaphor for our behavior. So we can't see the label of the jar we're in. Right? So when I'm swimming, I can't see what my arms are doing unless somebody videos me. So in my mind, I've got beautiful swimming style. I look amazing. It's perfect. And then one thing, the coach shines a light on, and you go, that's where I'm in my way. Step one is awareness, right? So now I know. Now somebody has helped me see that the there's a behavior, there's something inside of me that is actually holding me back.
Sometimes it's actually harder, I think, to get to that. I'm just going to call it like level 0, to understand what's that belief, what's the limiting belief, or what's that. Sometimes it's not limiting. It's just something stopping you from achieving what you really want. Because I just heard the statistics the other day that in the UK, I think, or even across Europe, like 92% of the people think they are fine. I mean, they think, they believe that as they live or as they live their lives, they're good with that. So it's nothing, how to phrase it? It's not that it's nothing wrong with them, but like they maybe don't want to change things. It's okay. It's fine. I was just so shocked when I heard. I'm like, really? Like, seriously? That's because I knew the other stats from your coaching program, which says 95% of the time we are in autopilot, which is also I think another shocking fact, but I get that, because we are absolutely, usually, like when we go through our day, we are not really thinking, oh, why am I doing this tea or coffee or whatever? You just do things. But that people really think everything is fine and it's cool. I mean, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, to get to that point when you realize, oh, something is there, something, maybe I need help, or maybe I need someone who will facilitate me or help me to get closer, to understand why I'm in the same circle over and over again. Yeah, even more difficult probably than to break through once you understand what the issue is.
Yeah, I think what happens is, we kind of, there doesn't always have to be something wrong with our life, right? Like, and that's good that if people don't think there's something wrong. But I think a lot of people, my belief is, and in working with people over the last 5 years, I get to know a lot of people. I have a lot of conversations, and I feel like too many people tolerate their life, and they say it's okay. Everything is fine. It's not that bad. And I think they tolerate it because they don't believe that something different is possible. And that's interesting, really, because I meet people, if they've got a clear desire or a clear problem, then they go, I think coaching could help me. But I'm also interested in, how do we open people's eyes to living like beyond this level of just acceptance? And I don't want to get too deep or philosophical about it, but I think, the fact that we need distractions, we all do, and there's no judgment, but like we need distractions like entertainment 24/7, social media 24/7, box sets, movies, and all these things are like brilliant. Like they're fun, right? They're juicy, they're part of life. But when that becomes your life, then I wonder, and well, I know now really, because I know myself when I'm now living a level of joy and peace and passion that I never thought possible 6 years ago. Like I didn't think that was like normal. I just thought that, that's not really real. But now when you live it and you see client after client after client making these internal changes, and the outside world, like the things we enjoy, those distractions become less important, because we actually look forward to getting up and going and doing what we're going to do, whether that's do a podcast, coach a person, make some furniture. But I think the vast majority of people settle, and that's what's sad. And that's why I care about what I do, because the first thing is to help people see that, do you know you're settling? Do you believe you've got more potential inside? And I don't mean for more success, more money, fine if that's what you want, but it's not necessarily that. It's more inside for you to express more of who you are. Sorry, a little bit deep and tangent, but I get passionate about it.
Oh, I love it. It's so interesting. No. Like, I would never stop you. So super interesting.
Feel free. You probably should stop me.
No, I love it. I have a couple of more questions. So let's say, someone comes to you saying, hey Lorna, I have a good friend, he or she recommended me you. I think like I'm kind of like okay with my life, Maybe I want a bit more money. I want to maybe climb higher on that ladder in my career, or maybe I even want to change careers. But my ultimate goal is just to make more money because I think I'm absolutely fine with my life. That's the only thing. How do you approach this? I mean, is there a technique or is it something in particular how you start to work with someone when it comes to, I don't know, understanding them or figuring out what may hold them back, and also how easy that is? Like, I remember when I first started therapy back home, I think I was just talking for 4 hours. So it was 2 or 3 sessions in a row when the pure therapist couldn't even say a word. And I like to talk and it's fine. But it was just, I felt like I had to share so much. And I mean, she was lucky because she got a lot of information to work from. But when someone absolutely new comes to you, you never knew before, and they just said, yeah, everything is okay, just want more money. But clearly there are some deeper issues which may be under the surface. How do you approach?
It's a difficult one to answer that because it's really just about asking questions and trying to understand what somebody really wants. What do they really want in their life, and trying to understand. I mean, there doesn't have to, like I said, there doesn't have to be something wrong. And sometimes people just say, just help me get to the next level. Right. So that's a different thing. Right. So there's kind of, you could look at this from 2 perspectives. There's one perspective of kind of, the borderline therapy coach. Right. So some people think they want a coach because they want to come and talk for an hour and they feel better. But I think the kind of coaching where somebody turns up, pays money once a week, speaks for an hour, and feels better in the moment, but makes no permanent change and takes no responsibility my job is to really help people not need a coach, right? We all need a coach at some point. We all need to get unstuck, and if we want to level up. So I think there's the conversation where, hey, just let me speak and I'll feel better. And that's fine. If that's what people need, I always listen and I give people exactly what they need. There's nothing wrong with people needing to express, because when we internalize our problems, that's not good either. So we want people to express their problems. But the second part is, let's just assume there's not necessarily something wrong, that the person doesn't necessarily want to talk about everything that's going on in their head. They just want to unlock something. And that's really about just the concept of self. So we eat, you've had the term self-image, you've been through the program with me. We each have a concept of the type of person we believe we are. And that lives inside. It's our current concept of self will match where we are. So you could be super successful and want to be more successful, but your concept of self needs to level up before that can happen. So even if you're super successful, you'll still reach a ceiling. So it's helping people to say, okay, well, if I want I'm at level 1 and I want to be level 10 success, well, it's helping people get clear on what that might look like. But more importantly, who are they needing to become? Because it's never really about working harder, trying harder. Yeah, it's about taking yourself to the place you want to go from a success point of view, taking your mind there and visualizing and thinking from that place and making decisions from that place, and starting to pivot your ideas pivot your concept of self and elevate that, expand. When you expand the concept of self, when you expand the story about the type of person you believe you are, who you believe that you're not, what is possible, what's not possible, when you expand that, then you expand your results. The thing that most people do the wrong way around is they say, I want to change my results and I think I can stay the same.
Yeah.
That makes sense. We go a little bit deep into beliefs and mindset, and I hope this is useful for people.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. My favorite topic. Let's tap into the corporate life a little bit, as we all coming from the corporate world. So what would you say, what are the benefits of doing mental fitness on a personal level and really dig deeper into into understanding our limiting beliefs and trying to level up and get a bit more training for our mental muscles and train our mindset. What are the benefits at the workplace when we try to apply all these good skills into our business environment?
Yeah, so I think what we're saying is we're talking about ultimately as a bracket term, personal growth, personal development. And I know when I was in my senior leadership role, I went on lots of great leadership programs, and they taught me great ideas about how to run a successful meeting, how to be assertive, how to have a coaching conversation, a performance review, how to kind of have executive presence, all these things. And they were good. What they never ever did was show me how to shift my inner identity to align with new behaviors I absolutely wanted to deploy in the workplace. So anytime, and I think when we look at when I used to lead global teams and they would say, I want some development, and and when it was something like confidence, it's like, where do you go to give someone confidence? Like there's a course for confidence, but it's all a mental creation. Right? If I ask you, Meshi, like, what's your confidence on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to how fast you can scale this business or your capability to run a business, like, what's your confidence 1 to 10?
Yeah, it's really hard to answer because, let's say last year I would have said minus 1,000, and now that I think that I managed to break through and tap into the unknown like every single day and try new things, it's just growing day by day. So I feel that just from that very single first step to finally starting to work on my own business, I immediately tapped from 0% to 80%.
Yeah.
For me, that was, and I'm at 80, and then just between 80 and 100, it's now, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm fine tuning, but I'm at a level which allows me to tap into even different, but still new territories. You know what I mean? But it feels less hard to take that first step. It doesn't mean that I'm immediately became a guru of everything in life or I've got all the knowledge. Obviously not. But I'm less scared of, tapping into the new.
Yeah.
Right? So, because I know that once I did that step, it's not even scary. It's not even, like any bad. It's just something we are so afraid of because we don't know. But once we are there, you realize it's not even that unfamiliar, or it's not even that scary, or it's okay. And you just need to trust the whole process and yourself. But yeah, I agree. It's really hard to define where you are on that scale.
So exactly, and what you've shown us there is your confidence has changed. So from A to B, from 20% to 8, minus 1,000 to whatever. The point I'm making is it's not a real thing. It's an idea, isn't it? Confidence is an idea. Do I feel certain that I can do this, that I can cope with this, or not? So we're saying, how can this benefit people in their corporate world? Like when they do personal development work, any kind of personal growth, we talk about confidence, we talk about leveling up. And anytime you want to take on a new role or climb the corporate ladder, I'll do leadership workshops, and I'll often ask the group, like, who here believes they can be in the C-suite team? And it's just to demonstrate that belief is just an idea. Like a belief is just a thought we keep having. So if you believe you're like level 8 confidence, level 8 out of 10, like I'll say, when did you decide? When did you decide you're level 8? Which makes the point that confidence is just an arbitrary mental creation. And a lot of times in my leadership career, there were things I had to do where I know I could have afforded to be more confident. So what was the thing that was holding me back? So any kind of personal growth that helps me tap into the ideas that, I can be more confident, I can be more assertive, I can be more certain. The thing is, no real leadership courses or no real corporate development courses will teach you that kind of thing, because it's something that you've got to create from inside. And there's only kind of personal growth and coaching that's going to do that for you. The other thing I wish I'd had access to kind of when I say access to this information, I learned that, we're not a victim of the circumstances of our life. I learned that, we get to choose how we react to everything and everyone. We get to choose whether we leave a meeting and stress about it for the whole weekend. We get to choose whether we worry about the presentation we're about to give in 6 weeks' time. And we get to choose. I used to niggle about a conversation. Oh, did I upset somebody? Oh, what do they think of me? All of these things, right, that create stress, doubt and worry in life, but certainly if you ask me about the corporate world and my leadership career, they are nothing but mental constructs. And that's what creates a lot of, I think, like the stress, the hustle, the overwhelm, the burnout, because we're running a million miles an hour. And God, this could be a whole separate podcast, Meshi, about my thoughts on what we could do in the world of business, in the world of organizations, because we kind of all buy into these norms and beliefs about what it takes to succeed in that world and the cultures. And I know many companies are changing. Many companies are focusing more on well-being and realizing that people are going to be delivering better results when they do feel confident, when they do feel sure, when they do feel supported, and they know they can make a mistake. But when people are crippled with anxiety and worry, and is this actually, I don't know. A couple of years before I left that role, I would say I finally found my inner peace and my groove, because I realized all these truths. I realized imposter syndrome isn't real. It's just something I'm buying into. I realized that I could choose any concept of myself I want. So I started to intentionally choose a more empowering concept, a more expansive idea about who I was, as opposed to who I was told at when I was at school, or who I've been in the habit of being. And I started to, instead of rushing around with ideas in my mind of craziness and busyness and deadlines, I started to realize that I just get to choose what I focus on. I get to choose, and I had a mantra in my mind all day, every day. I ease through each day feeling calm and confident. And every time and these things sound like a little bit, they sound so simple that you think they're not really as impactful as they are. But when you talk about affirmations and mental commandments, like what we say to ourselves all day, every day becomes our reality. Sorry, that's a very, very long-winded answer, and I'm going to stop because I'll go on for another 20 minutes.
I love it. And just maybe a closing thought then on this one. I heard this in Stephen Bartlett's podcast. He's one of my favorites, really in this field, and he says that sometimes people feel so ashamed that they don't believe that these tiny little things, like this mantra you mentioned, or maybe spending really that 5 minutes each morning to tune the mind to gratitude and positivity, can change, because we feel. We just really,
yeah, it's too simple.
Like really, like exactly, like too simple, and yeah, you can really train the mind, and it's not hard, as you say. Another favorite a saying from you, what I really love is the touch lightly. I love this concept. Every time I'm super anxious, nervous, absolutely fixated on something, really, really hard, like wanting it, and I'm very stressed. This comes to my mind somehow. You planted it really well, because it does come. and then I say, exactly, I look into the mirror and say, wait a minute. I look at myself and I say, what if it's easy? Touch lightly. And it immediately puts, to the lights from a different perspective. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wait.
That's it.
That's true. What if it's easy? What if this interview is easy? What if this client is easy? What if I'm going to achieve my goals? What if I'm going to level up? And what if it will be easy? And when you accept this idea, it really can be a game changer, because you're just going to approach it so differently. With less anxiety and less stress, and immediately you will feel lighter and easier. So, yeah. Well, maybe that was a nice finish line then. I just want to say thank you to you for accepting this invitation and being my very first guest.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's just a brilliant journey what we are on. Also, like separately, like on an individual level, your story, and also where I'm coming from, and my story as well, and how the two roads are meeting and came together. So yeah, thank you so much again, and thank you for everyone who was listening to this very first episode. I didn't really say much about my own self, so maybe as a finish, I'm just going to do that. This whole podcast was brought to you by my workplace wellbeing company, which is called Treat Your Stuff. So this is the company, a business I'm running. So that's behind the scenes. We're bringing health, well-being and wellness and all the joy and happiness which comes with it to the workplace, to offices, to conferences and events, trying to bring, more of this into the busy corporate life. So that's a wrap, I think. Thanks again, Lorna, and thanks everyone who's listening. This podcast is planned to be a monthly one, to bring your monthly dose of inspiration each month. So hopefully, I'm gonna get into a routine with it. And thank you so much again. You'll see subscribe buttons and YouTube channels and on the social media links below the episode. So have a good day, have a good month, and see you next time. Thank you.